Hello everybody. We are going to make a creamy pot pie. Now, I am the type of cook that I don't believe anything should go to waste, so we're going to scoop all of this out right over here. Make sure you get every little single piece of the cream of mushroom. You can also, if you don't want to use 2 cans of cream of mushroom, you could use 1 can of cream of mushroom, 1 can of cream of chicken. Just make sure that they are both large size cans for the recipe. So we're going to get that in there, spread that around. Now we're going to add this roasted chicken. Now you can use, I'm using this brand right here. It's frozen, it's quick, it's easy to pick up from the grocery store. But if you like to use maybe the fresh shredded chicken from Costco or something, if that's what you have available, by all means, go ahead and use that. Make sure that we get all of this nice and incorporated. It's going to be delicious. Even if it doesn't look beautiful right now, by the end it will look beautiful and it will taste delicious. So we're going to now once we have this all in there, we're going to add these frozen vegetables. You can use fresh ones if you choose to, but I'm a mom on the go. I happen to work also a full-time job, so every mom who is a mom on the go knows that we are going to get frozen vegetables because they are our best friends. Mix this part in. Now I like to mix the bags individually so that we really make sure that everything is just fully incorporated and you don't have any empty spaces or any uncoated chicken with the deliciousness. Okay, so now we got that first bag in. Now broccoli, because my husband loves broccoli. And this is a great way if your children aren't exactly broccoli friendly, which we all know most children aren't. You can sneak this in there and they don't even know. Most times they don't even notice it because it's just kind of all mixed in there. Get it nice, everything you want to get nice and coated. Now, I will admit my mistake right now. I used too small of a pan. If you might want to use a bigger pan so that you can really get in there and when you're mixing it, because we might have a little bit of a technical difficulty with this small pan. So learn from my mistakes and make sure that when you do it, you're using a larger, maybe even a deeper casserole dish. All right, now get all that nice and incorporated. Now, I have my trusty towel right here so I can wipe my hands off. Gonna put some pepper. The cream of mushroom and the chicken are already seasoned with, I forgot to open it. I was in there wondering, like, why is it not coming out? Okay, so now we're gonna go. The chicken and the cream of mushroom, as we all know, if you've ever worked with cream of mushroom, it has kind of a salty flavor to it. So you're gonna put some fresh ground cracked pepper from wherever you like to get it from. Just make sure it's delicious. And always fresh. Always want to use your spices fresh, y'all. Fresh salt, fresh pepper, fresh spices. Get that nice and incorporated. Again, don't mind my small pan. When you make this recipe at home, you will learn from my mistakes. I know you will. Okay. So now, this is what I like to add. Because of the cream of mushroom, you know how on Thanksgiving we do like the cream of mushroom casserole with the French fried onions? I add just a little bit, not too much, but it gives it that feeling of maybe Thanksgiving, reminiscent. Even if it doesn't give you a reminiscent feeling of Thanksgiving, it'll still be delicious. And that's really what it's all about, right? Being delicious. So once again, we're going to make sure that it's all scooped in there. You don't want to add too much of the onions. Let me make sure that I make that a point to say, because the onions are very salty. So you're only going to want to add just a little bit, but it will give it a good flavor profile. All right, next we are going to add, let me put this thing over here so it doesn't just go everywhere. Stick it right there. We're going to add cheese. My family loves cheese. I'm using blocked cheese right now. Most of the time I use shredded cheese, but this will be good too. Now the cheese not only acts as a wonderful taste, you know, doesn't only add wonderful taste to it, but it acts as a binder. When we put our topping on, we're going to use a biscuit topping, and when we put our topping on and we smush it all down, the cheese is going to make sure that everything kind of sticks together. Okay, let's get this out. And I suggest using the whole bag. This is a 8-ounce package, and if you use, even if you're using the shredded or if you're using the block, just make sure you use the whole package. If you have one little square for yourself though, ain't nobody gonna worry about that. The cooks need to have something too. We need to do a quality check, as I like to call them. Or I tell my husband and my daughter that when I take bites out of their food, I'm just making sure it's not poisoned. Oh, so next, now my can already busted, and so this is already, you know, you guys at home will have. Now, make sure when you use the biscuits, you can use any biscuit that you'd like, but the layered biscuits are going to rip apart easier and just make life just that much more easier, because this is what we're doing it for, right? To make it easy when we come home from a long day, 8-hour shift, and just kind of put this together. Let this be. Now you want to use a thicker portion on the corners. I always start out at the corners. Just rip it apart. Now that one is a little bit thin, so I just said I want thicker at the corners, and I'm going to stick with that because it helps when you get like the soup at the corner so it doesn't bubble over. You want to make sure that you're looking out for your oven. Since, like me, I used a small pan, I will have to make sure that we seal that up. All right, and now we just kind of layer it over, stretch it out. It does not hurt to stretch it out a little bit if you have to. Just like that, and just gonna keep on going. You're gonna do the entire can. And just see how easy this is. You can get this done in like 10 minutes maybe. Get home from a long day of work, everyone's hungry. You don't want to just always go through the drive-through, so you have this option right here. My family loves it. My family loves when I make home-cooked meals, even when they're quick and easy meals. They don't know. They're not in here in the kitchen with me. All they know is that when we all sit down at the family table, they say, Mom, you made this? And I say, yes, I did. And my husband will look at me and say, I don't know how you do it. And then I look back at him and say, I don't know how either. But really, I just use quick and easy, viral, easy cooking recipes like this. All right, so we're getting close to the edge. Now you're going to want to try to make sure that it's all sealed up, because once again, we don't want everything bubbling over. And it doesn't hurt. Biscuits are resilient. They can stretch out a little bit and they ain't gonna hurt nobody. All right, we're here on the last ones now. So I am going to stretch this one out so that I can make sure that I get that all sealed. And then this one out as well. And see, you can just easily do it with your fingertips. Just gently massage it and stretch. Now, we're gonna, remember that cheese that we put on there earlier? This is where we're gonna press down, make sure it all gets nice together. And that the biscuits are still going to rise a little bit, not too much, not like a regular biscuit, because you know we did rip them in half, but they're still going to rise. And so we want it to, the bottom part, to absorb the cream of mushroom and the cheese and all the goodness that we put in there. Now don't worry, we don't have to add any water to this or any extra liquid, because we used everything frozen. So the frozen vegetables and the frozen chicken, are, when they release their water, it's going to soak up with it. So it's going to be all good. So don't worry. I know a lot of you might be out there worried, like we didn't add no liquid to it. Now, I add a little bit of Pam, just so that it can give a nice, beautiful golden texture. Some of you, I'm watching my calories. Some of you guys might not be watching your calories. So you might feel like you want to use real butter. And if you do, by all means, treat yourself. You only live once, right? So why deny yourself the pleasures? But I'm a diabetic, so I do have to deny myself a few pleasures. And ta-da, we're gonna put it in the preheated oven at 350 for 30 minutes to 30 to 40 minutes. Now you're gonna wanna keep, now since everything's already cooked, we don't really have to cook everything through, but you're gonna wanna make sure that the biscuits are golden brown and not too dark. So I'll see you in a little bit with the finished product. All right, guys, dun, 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 dun. This is our finished product. Look at how gorgeous it is. Look at this crust. Look at, can you hear it? Can you hear it? You getting in there? That means that it is nice and crispy. It's gonna be delicious. It's gonna be, you know, when you cut in, I always suggest using a spoon. You want to, oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Oh, did you see the cheese? It's all looking so gorgeous. I always suggest using a spoon so that you can make sure that you get every little bit. Oh, awesomeness, awesomeness. You see that, how it's all mixed in together? Yeah, a little bit more with that crust on there. See how you have all of the broccoli and the chicken, everything's all in there. It's gonna be nice and hot, delicious, ready for your family. The cheese, nice and gooey, and don't forget the little, look at that crust. Who's not gonna love that crust? All right, so when you try it for your family, let me know what you think. Let me know if you make any adjustments, improvements even, that we might wanna share with everybody else. Enjoy.